Last week's Xbox Game Showcase seemed lackluster and left a bad taste in my mouth. After one of the games I was most excited for, Halo Infinite, displayed a gameplay trailer that was very unsatisfactory. Fans and critics alike shared my feelings about Halo Infinite, and it wasn't long before we got responses from 343 and Microsoft. But do those responses actually try to hide the truth that Halo Infinite is probably DOA? Before we get to that, guys, make sure to hit that like button, because liking these videos lets us know that you love them. And make sure to hit that subscribe button notification bell so you don't miss any videos just like this one. Let's get to the news. Last week, Microsoft held their Xbox Game Showcase, which was supposed to highlight the latest and greatest coming to the Xbox Series X and Xbox Game Pass. In response to the showcase, I made a video giving my criticisms to one of Xbox's flagship games, Halo Infinite, and its lacking in the graphics department. My main gripe was that compared to other games that were presented at the event, Halo Infinite just didn't stack up. And it didn't make sense why you have a showcase of all these games to show off your upcoming next-gen game console, but you show gamers footage of gameplay that is reminiscent of Halo games of old. The majority of the viewers who watched that video agreed with me in my criticisms, and since the showcase, more and more gamers and critics online have come to the same conclusion as I did. So what does 343 and Microsoft have to say about Halo Infinite and our criticisms? Alessio Palumbo of WCCF Tech attended a post-showcase Q&A session regarding Halo Infinite, and he brought back quotes detailing 343 studio heads Chris Lee's reasoning for the poor showing. Lee recommends that fans disappointed in the stream should check out the 4K streaming assets which showcase the game in full fidelity. Still, he echoes the message that the game is still very much in development, and that Halo Infinite still needs a lot of polishing and tuning in order to look its best when it comes out this holiday season. Lee continued that even if the Xbox Game Showcase footage didn't capture Halo Infinite's true graphical fidelity, it did showcase how it would run on Microsoft's newest console. Even up to 4K resolutions, Lee promised that the game would run at a solid 60 frames per second with more than 10 times the processing power per pixel when compared to Halo 5 Guardians. He also praised the music being composed by Curtis Schweitzer and Gareth Coker for Halo Infinite, saying that these upgrades to the audio engine will surround the player in a much more realistic audio experience. Speaking to IGN, Lee explained that 343 Studios envisions Halo Infinite as the home of Halo for the next 10 years, adding new stories, technical features, and more as it evolves and changes. Halo Infinite is the start of our platform for the future, Lee said. We want Infinite to grow over time versus going to those numbered titles and having all that segmentation that we had before. It's really about creating Halo Infinite as the start of the next 10 years for Halo, and then building that as we go with our fans and community. Lee cautioned that Halo Infinite won't be a live service title and follow the formats of games like Destiny 2. Instead, it's just adopting the format 343 Studios has been using with Halo the Master Chief Collection by collecting everything under one name. It will also receive the same type of technical upgrades over time too, with 343 Studios confirming that a ray tracing update will arrive after launch. So my response to 343's response is, so basically you're telling me you presented an unfinished product to the masses. It's not even half-baked by the sound of it if the graphics aren't even ready. And it's not going to have features that Microsoft's been touting for the Xbox Series X at launch? I don't really see what the point is then. I think Microsoft and 343 would have just been better off giving us another teaser, honestly. You could have easily just given audiences a shorter clip of what's to come in a 4K resolution at 60 frames per second, and that would have basically given us what we wanted to see. All this other stuff about re-envisioning Halo and evolving into something as a whole that'll last for years and years sounds great, but if you use most of those years basically using gamers as guinea pigs to evolve what's basically an unfinished product, then I'm not cool with that. So we have fans and critics' responses to Halo Infinite, and now we have 343's responses to the fan and critics' responses. So what does Microsoft have to say about all this? In an interview with IGN, Microsoft GM Aaron Greenberg addressed the criticism surrounding the Halo Infinite demo and stated, "Listen, we're in the middle of a global pandemic. It's July, we're far from launch this holiday season, and you're seeing a game that's a work in progress." Greenberg reemphasized the progress that 343 Studios is making on the game, saying, "We see build check-ins every week, and they make progress week after week, so between now and the holiday season, it's just going to get better and better." Greenberg then argued the title was being unfairly judged due to the lower quality stream. It's very hard to show the full power and graphical fidelity of what Xbox Series X will be able to deliver over a stream. Go back and look at it in 4K 60. So I told one of my viewers who actually commented on my Halo response video before Microsoft even put out the response that the game will probably undergo lots of updates before it's actually released this holiday season. And they actually were talking about not even having a public beta. They might just do away with that and basically just give us the game at the holiday season and, like I was saying before, use us as guinea pigs and just put out updates as needed. What I don't seem to understand is from a PR standpoint, why would you give us an unfinished product and then be taken aback when fans and critics have criticisms about the game? I'm sorry, Microsoft and 343, but this ain't the Snyder Cut of Justice League, where we are a little bit more understanding in the process. This is Halo, and it's the Xbox Series X, which is a next-gen console. And fans, gamers, and critics expect not an unfinished product, but a product that's at least finished or at least 90% finished. And that doesn't look like what 343 and Microsoft presented at the showcase. So even though we have a response from Microsoft about our gripes, it's more likely that Microsoft actually doesn't care that we are complaining about their game. While it would seem like Microsoft's end goal would be to ship millions and millions of Xbox Series X game consoles, their real goal is to reach as many gamers as possible, no matter which platform they choose to play on, and they plan on doing that with its Xbox Game Pass service. During the showcase, Microsoft announced that all the games showcased during the event would be available for its Game Pass Pass service. The Xbox Game Pass Ultimate service is a subscription service that gives you access to over 100 games and Xbox Live Gold access. As someone who hasn't currently transitioned to Game Pass from the OG Xbox Live Gold, I don't know how I feel about making the move. Well, $14.99 I get access to play online with my friends in multiplayer matches, and now have access to tons of games. I know with the Gold service you got free games every month that you could download and enjoy, but now with Game Pass you can get a Netflix-style access to content all the time, and all of these games are available at your leisure. With next-gen games set to cost $70 or more, Game Pass sounds like it could be a more enticing offer. I think if more people sign up and take advantage of the Game Pass subscription, then that could push Xbox into a more strictly digital market. I don't know the exact pricing for a 4K Blu-ray player in the Xbox Series X, but I know that the Xbox One all-digital version probably sold well enough for it to be a viable long-term option. An article from TechRadar details the profits and reach Xbox shift to being a service has had. Microsoft isn't relying on mass console sales to make money anymore. Hardware really turns a big profit either for Sony or Microsoft, particularly in the early stages when manufacturing costs are high. Consoles are often sold at a loss, and it's the software and services that make up the deficit and turn over healthy revenue. So how is Microsoft doing on the services front? It's managed to amass over 10 million Xbox Game Pass subscribers, and unlike with a single game or hardware purchase, these subscribers bring in a consistent cash flow every single month. These subscribers aren't just tied to Xbox hardware either. They're playing games on Xbox consoles and PCs, and soon they'll be logging in on their phones too. With Project xCloud bundled into the Xbox Game Pass subscriptions from September, a whole new audience of gamers might enter the Xbox ecosystem for the first time. The key thing here is that they have many avenues to do so. So where does that leave us now with Halo Infinite? Well, ultimately, while we have our gripes, we can hopefully try to turn those gripes into something positive, and hopefully by November, maybe Halo will get the TLC it needs to get up to par with our expectations. I honestly think that this issue with Halo is going to be a deterrent for shoppers this holiday season. They may go over to Sony and buy a PS5, or maybe they'll end up buying a PC, which, if that's the case, Microsoft still wins in the end. Let me know in the comments what you think about the drama surrounding the Halo Infinite graphics. What's your response to 343 and Microsoft's response to fans' criticisms about the game? And that's it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos just like this one, make sure to hit that subscribe notification bell. And I'll see you guys next time on the Mashup.